Okay, so this is going to be the last session for a little while, but we want to finish up one little detail, and then I may show you a couple of other little tricks before we call it. Um, but what are we going to do? Okay, so one of the things is if we press play and look at our cycle through our weapons, you see that he's using the pistol grip for all of the weapons, which is not going to work. It works fine for the pistol and works fairly well for the submachine gun, but for the assault rifle and the shotgun, it doesn't work real well. So what we're going to do is we're going to expand our animator controller for our player to accommodate a second kind of grip that will work for both the shotgun and the assault rifle, and then we're going to talk about, well, some other things. So to do that, I'm going to go to my simple player, and I'm going to go to my soldier, because remember that the animator is on the model, not on the container. So the animator is actually connected to the soldier base himself. And I can double click on it to open it up. And you'll see we've got two nodes. We've got the locomotion node that is when my player is moving around the screen or standing idle, it controls which handgun animation is playing. And we have the handgun combat reload that will be fired whenever the is reloading script is, or flag is set, which is this trigger here. And a trigger is different from a Boolean in that if you click a trigger, it tells it to run the animation exactly one time. And then it goes, when the animation is completed, then it goes down back to locomotion. So I'm going to press play, and we're going to watch when I have this selected, and we're going to watch as I cycle through some things. So I'm in my locomotion, and I can drill down, and you can see that because I'm not moving, the blue line indicates that it's playing my idle animation. And as I move backwards, or sideways and backwards, it will switch which animation it's running based on my animation horizontal and vertical values. And so it plays what I want it to play correctly, which is nice. And if I pause, I'm going to shoot a couple of bullets here, and I'm going to hit reload, and he does a reload animation. I can go back up later to show you that again, actually. And there's his reload animation playing. If I go to the scene, and I double click on my player, click on my soldier, there we go. And I fire a couple of bullets and hit reload. You can see that that'll work for a reloading a pistol. So what we want to do is have him shift his stance when he switches to a different kind of weapon. And to do that, we're going to expand our weapon definition in scriptable objects. Also, I wanted to point out that we have exactly one scriptable object, which is the weapon definition, but you can use them throughout an entire project to house different kinds of things that you want to have implemented in the game. And one of the most common ways to use scriptable object is to create an inventory that your player can carry around, because you don't have to store the inventory in memory somewhere and then guess, you have to write script to go access the different thing. You can actually just go to the inventory and say, give me item number 3 on the list of items in this backpack. And it will be persistent while you're playing, which is kind of nice. So, anywho, again, so we're just going to expand our weapon definition. I just wanted to mention one time that you can use it for other things other than weapon definition. I'm just using it for that now. Later on, we'll probably later on when we pick this back up, we'll use it for probably more things as I learn more how they work. Anyway, I'm going to open my weapon definition here, and it's going to open up Visual Studio. And we want to give, we want to put this in, let's create a string here under the reload detail called public string my reload type. And under shot details, let's create a new public string my shot, my weapon grip type. My weapon grip type. Sure. Okay. And then we'll save that. And we want to. What we're going to do is we're going to pass the specific values to the animator, so it will know which values to switch to. I do not need this right now. Okay. So if I come back into my project, and I go to my weapons that already exist, you'll see that my after it compiles, you see my reload type is blank and my weapon grip type is blank. So, for the pistol, we're going to say my weapon grip type is pistol, and my reload type is pistol. For the shotgun, we're going to say my weapon grip type is assault, and the reload type is shotgun. For the submachine gun, we're going to use my weapon grip type is pistol, and my reload type is pistol. The truth is that the submachine gun doesn't have a separate set of animations, and the pistol reload works just fine for it. So, and then for the assault rifle, the weapon grip type is assault, and the reload type is assault. So we've got 3 different kinds of reload types: pistol, shotgun, and assault, and we've got 2 different kinds of grips: pistol and assault. So we want to accommodate all of those in our animator controller. So let's go back to our animator here. So we're going to add 2 new variables, 2 new parameters rather, and they're going to be well, darn, I can't use strings. What to do? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make these into integers, and we'll have to convert the integers in our scripts. So we'll make them into integers, and we're going to call the first one weapon grip type, and we're going to create another integer called reload type, and they're going to default both of these to 0. So. Okay, let's go back to our weapon definition, actually, and just change these from strings to ints. And that will make that easier to deal with. We'll have to remember what the different integers mean, but that's fine. Come back here. Go to my pistol. Okay, so the pistol, remember that the integers are going to default to 0. So my grip type is set to 0, and my reload type is set to 0 for the pistol. We want the same grip type and reload type for the submachine gun, so I'm going to click down here and make sure that it's also set to 0. Yep, my grip type and my reload type. For the shotgun, though, we want to have a new grip type, which is going to be 1, and that will mean our assault grip. And the reload type is going to be 2, just to avoid confusion. 2 is going to be our shotgun reload, which is different than our assault rifle reload. And then our assault rifle will have a grip type of 1 and a reload type of 1. So there. Okay, now we can just pass those variables directly. We don't have to have a translation in the script. We'll still need to know that 0 is pistol, 1 is assault, and 2 is shotgun. So I can create a tooltip just by copying this here and pasting it right above the grip type that says grip types, there's only 2. 0 is pistol, 1 is assault. And then I'll copy that again over the reload type and leave the same thing, and then I'll add 2 is equal to shotgun. So this doesn't enforce this. This is just to tell us as developers, here's what you need to set this to if this is a shotgun type weapon or an assault type weapon or a pistol or whatever. So, okay. Cool. Okay. So now we need to start adding our different states. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to copy and paste these nodes, which is a pretty good implementation. And then we're going to update the animations to match what they are supposed to do. So I'm going to do copy and paste. So just paste locomotion 0 out here. I'm going to pick locomotion, the original locomotion, and write locomotion pistol. So I can remember, so that I can remember that it's the pistol locomotion, and this one is going to be locomotion assault. Because the running with the machine gun and the running with the shotgun are the same. The only place it's going to be different is up here when we deal with reloading, which we'll get to in just a second. So, we want the locomotion pistol to be played by default unless the weapon grip type changes to 1, which is our assault. So I'm going to make a transition here, make transition to locomotion assault, and I'm going to set the conditions for this to be weapon grip type is equal to 1. And then I'm going to make another transition, go back the other way, that says my weapon grip type is equal to 0. Cool. So now if my, oh, sorry, I also need to change the has exit time unchecked, fixed duration to be unchecked, and set this to 0, 1, so that it's basically just an instant switch from pistol to assault. Right now it's not changing because the we haven't defined the assault animations, but we'll do that in just a second. And the same thing over here on this one, we're going to uncheck, and change it to 0, 1, so there's no delay, and it will change instantly when the weapon is when the animation manager tells us that our weapon grip type has changed. Okay, so let's change what the animations are. So I'm double-clicking, go back to double-click on locomotion assault to drill down into it and get to the blend tree. And if you click on the blend tree, you'll see we've got all our animations here defined. And these are the ones we want to change. So we're going to open up. First of all, I'm going to lock this using this little padlock in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to lock this inspector because if I don't and start selecting things, it will keep trying to select and show me the inspector for the items I'm selecting, which I don't want it to do. So I'm going to leave this locked so that I can just drag stuff into it very quickly. And then I'm going to come down to Toon Soldiers, Armies, and Animation. And I'm going to actually open I think it's the Infantry. Yeah. I'm going to open the Infantry folder. And the Infantry movement is the movement associated with the assault rifle. So Infantry is more or less equal to assault. So I'm going to click on the arrow here that says Infantry Combat Idle, and I'm going to drag the actual animation. So this is the, if I expand this window, you can see this is the film box FBX file that holds the model and the animation. But the thing with the little arrow, the gray box with the arrow on it, that looks like a play button, that's the actual animation. So I'm going to drag the animation here to replace Handgun Combat Idle. So now and if you see, he switched to holding his weapon with 2 hands the way you would expect him to hold an assault rifle or a shotgun. Okay. His movement, though, is going to be here in the movement folder, so I'm going to drill down 1 level, and we're going to just replace the same values. So run right, the infantry combat run right will replace handgun combat run right. Sorry, but I can't drag the object in, I have to drag the animation in. Infantry combat run will replace handgun combat run. Infantry combat run left will replace handgun combat run left. And infantry combat walk back will replace handgun combat walk back. As I said before, the actual pack that this comes with contains significantly more animations than this. I just stripped a lot of them out so that we could be able to use these without feeling like I was with the permission of the creator. One of his things was, don't give them the whole pack. So there's a lot more stuff in here that a lot more kinds of animations you can get in the full pack. And I will link the pack in the description to the video this week because I keep saying I'm going to do that and have never done it. So I will do that this week. So now we can test our animation by dragging our, let me go back to the middle. You can drag this little red dot, let's hit play, and you'll see he's now will be animated correctly going forward, to the right, to the left, and moving backwards. Remember that we had our animation speed pumped up a little bit for the combat run to make it look like he's hurrying along because he moves so much slower when he's going backwards. Okay, So now we've got the locomotion blend tree for the locomotion assault has been done. And double check on pistol, it's still the same. So we haven't changed anything there. But at present, the animator will always play pistol animations because the weapon grip type is always going to be 0. So we need to modify our animator handler to tell us what weapon grip type it is, and the way it's going to do that is it's going to read the weapon definition. So let's go back to my simple player in my game object. I had the padlock on, so this didn't change, and I need it to now because I need to see the inspector for the simple player. There we go. So we want to go to the animator handler, and what we need to know is when does he switch weapons. And so that's going to come from our weapon handler script. So I'm going to open up the weapon handler, and when I click into the next weapon, we need to get the animator handler. Is that true? Actually, let me try the animator handler first. It may already have a link to our weapon handler. It does not. Okay, so we're going to create a new function in our animator handler that is going to be called public void set weapon grip type, and it's going to take a single argument of an integer. Which will be my weapon grip type, and we're going to say my animator dot set int integer my weapon grip type, and why is that? Sorry. So you have to give it two things. You have to set the integer of weapon grip type to, so you have to give it the name of what integer you want it to set, and then what you're setting it to. So we're gonna pass my weapon grip type, and we're gonna call that when we switch weapons in our weapon handler. So now we have set weapon grip type in our animator handler. So I'll click save so that the weapon handler will be able to see it. I'm going to scroll down to where I'm changing weapons, and all this stuff about setting the transform position and all that stuff, all that was added so that we can move the object that was created by the object pooler for the weapon into wherever the player is. One of the interesting things is when you switch weapons, what's going to happen is the object pooler is going to drop the weapon wherever you're standing. Not drop it, it's going to abandon it by deactivating it wherever you're standing, and it's going to deparent it from the player. And so it'll just be sitting there as this invisible object in the scene. Actually, I can show you that real quick. Let me do this. And I'm going to press play, and it's going to give me my pistol in the scene here. Let me get closer to my player a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to move a little ways away here. And I'm going to switch to my shotgun. There we go. And then I'm going to move a little bit away, and I'm going to switch to my submachine gun. Now if I pause this and come in here to my shotgun and turn it on, you'll see that it's no longer parented to my hand. It was wherever I was standing when I switched to my submachine gun, and my pistol is back over here when I switch to my shotgun. So it's just dropping the objects there. But if I keep going here and go, let's unpause this, and I'm going to switch to my assault rifle, watch the pistol. I'm going to press E, and it should switch to my pistol, and it didn't do that. It didn't do. Why didn't it do that? Because it's active in the scene already. So let me deactivate it. Let's try that one more time. Okay, I've got my pistol. I switched to my shotgun. I'm going to pause it. The weapon pistol is over here. It's over here. I can actually zoom in on it. It's far away from my player. But it's if I leave it active, the object pooler won't pick it up because it's already active in the scene, and we told it not to expand the list because I don't want it to start generating multiple pistols or shotguns if we hit a bug. So I'm going to deactivate it, but remember that it's here in space. I'm going to deactivate it and unpause the game, and I'm going to cycle through back to my pistol. And now if I pause it and say, "Hey, where's that pistol clone?" It's actually in my character attached to his hands down here in the weapon. You see it says USP clone. This is not the one we had built in before. That we deactivated that when we implemented the system. But it actually moved the clone into my character and made the weapon container the parent, so that it's in the right place. And it will move around as I move around my player. Anyway, so when the weapon changes, which is after the weapon definition key has changed, then we want to go and get the weapon grip type from the weapon definition of the currently equipped weapon, and we want to tell the animator controller to set that. And I believe we've got to hook into our animator controller. We don't. Well, that's fine. We can go get it. Okay, so we're going to create a new set of logic down here, and so the hands will change slightly after the new weapon is set, but only slightly. So this is going to be update animator with new weapon grip type. So we're going to say get component animator handler. Just animator handler, not animator handler zombie. Get component animator handler zombie, and we want to do dot set weapon grip type, and then we have to pass an integer, and that integer is going to be my current weapon model, my current weapon definition, dot my weapon grip type, which is an integer. And that should be it. Yep. I want to copy this exact line of code and the comment. And I'm also going to place it down here below the positioning of the object on the equipped next weapon. So it will now work for equipping the previous weapon and equipping the next weapon. And let's see if that works, or if I've forgotten something. Press play. After it compiles, I'll press play. Okay, so I'm holding my pistol. Zoom in on our character a little bit. And if I switch in the game, switch to my next weapon, you see that his grip's instantly switched, and now he's holding the shotgun in a more realistic looking way than he was before. If I switch again to my, I'm going to unselect him, so I'm going to, there. I'm going to switch again to my pistol, or to my submachine gun, and it should go back to the pistol grip, which still, like I said, works pretty well for this. And I'm going to switch again, and it will go back to the assault rifle grip to hold the assault rifle. So that all looks pretty good. So I'm happy with how that has come out so far, and it's pretty straightforward. Yep.
Mine isn't doing that. Can I see? I think I might have to line in the animator handler and stuff.
Okay. Let's go back to the animator.
It should be at the very bottom. Book group type, my book group type. It seems to be working. So weapon group type. My text isn't blue for my weapon grip type. Is that something that you just have, or is that a
Well, does up here, does this say assembly C sharp or does it say miscellaneous files?
assembly C sharp?
Okay, so you are in your project. And this is not blue?
No, it's not.
Did you have the
It's just normal text.
Do you have the int here?
Yeah, I have the int there, and I have the weapon grip type. Hold on, let me try something. My W is capitalized. I don't know if that should matter or not.
What that
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, it will matter. The capitalization matters for this. You mean this one?
Yeah, that, and I changed that, so that is correct now.
Okay, that has to match what it inverts in your animator. So what it was trying to do then was set a parameter that you didn't have. So try it again and see if it switches now.
Hold on. I think I know what the problem is then. I'm copying it. Compiling. There we go. That's it.
Fantastic. Yeah. So that's a good gotcha that comes up a good bit, which is that the animator parameter names have to match exactly the string that you put in the code. So there's that. Okay. Now let me show you what the reload animations look like and why we want to change them. So I'm going to switch to so I can press this and I can reload my pistol, and that's fine for a top-down game. If I do switch to my shotgun and press reload, it's fine, but he kind of looks like he's loading a pistol. Switch to my submachine gun and reload, and it will do it as well. But and again, this is fine. That works fine. But then the assault rifle reload does not work. Does not work at all well because he's loading the magazine into the bottom of the thing, and then he's switching back to his pistol grip, and there's a couple of problems. So let's go and I'll show you why. When we go to our animator, after you press reload, it only goes back to the locomotion pistol. It does not go back to locomotion assault. It should transition back down to assault if you're using an assault type weapon. So we want to change this bit right here to add in our three different kinds of reload types. Remember, we've got a pistol reload type, a assault reload type, and a shotgun reload type, and those are 0, 1, and 2 respectively. So I'm going to take handgun combat reload, and I'm going to leave it connected to locomotion pistol, but I'm going to copy it and paste it here, and I'm going to paste it a second time as well. So I have I'm going to rename this. This is handgun combat reload just because that's what the animation was named. I'm going to rename this assault combat reload, which is really going to be infantry combat reload. And I'm going to take off this 1 because that's just to make the names have to be unique in the state machine here. And then I'm going to rename this one to shotgun combat reload. Okay. And we need to be able to get to these, and we're going to have to get to them based on if the player is reloading and the reload type is correct. So if the reload type is 0, then it's going to pistol, to handgun. So I'm going to click on this transition, and notice that it's got the only condition it has is reloading, because up until now, the only thing you could reload was your pistol. So we're going to add one more condition to it that says reload type, and lowercase r, is equal to 0. So it will only come down this path if you're in, remember that this is, so you can see this. This is coming from any state, so reloading interrupts anything else that you're doing, which we're going to, at some point you'll want to deal with any other actions. If the player's interacting with a switch or something, you don't want him to also start reloading. But for right now, having him interrupt everything he's doing and stop moving and reloading is correct, because that's the sort of the penalty we baked in for reloading is you lose all your movement. Anyway, So so now it will interrupt any state that I'm currently in and play this transition with a short transition duration of a quarter of a second to go from locomotion to reloading the pistol. Okay. Whenever the is reloading trigger is set. Okay, and remember that if we transition down here from reload complete, and that was an animation event that we baked into. Was it an animation event, or do we put that as timing? I have to look and see real quick what we did here. So let's look at the animation. No, it's not an animation event. We actually baked it into our animation handler, which is good because it means there's less work we have to do right now. So let's just make a transition that matches these. In fact, I think we can copy. Nope. Make transition and drag that onto Assault Combat Reload and make another transition and drag it onto Shotgun Combat Reload. And now you'll start to see that finite state machines, this is an example of, are great because you can have things connected in all kinds of crazy ways. They're also can be hard to read because they're only in 2 dimensions, so stuff overlaps. But we're gonna spread things out to make it as clear as possible in just a second. But let's first do this. Let's leave the fixed duration, and I believe we want to uncheck transition to self, and it will say, hey, you don't have any transition selected here, but for Shotgun Combat Reload, we're going to say is reloading. In other words, that trigger has been fired, and my reload type is equal to 2. Because remember, the shotgun was 2, and then the reload type for an assault rifle is going to also not transition to self, and it's also going to happen when we is reloading. And also when my reload type is equal to 1. A fun, interesting thing about parameters, I'm going to add one more parameter to this, but I'm not actually going to save it. I just want to show you something. Integers can be equal to values. If we're comparing a float, like our horizontal movement, you can only say if it's greater than or less than. You can't set it equal because of the nature of floats. It is likely that the float will not ever be exactly equal to a value. So if you're going to do something that is that specific, you should use an integer instead of a float. But just be aware that in your animator, you can't ever say when my animation speed is equal to 0, because it may not be exactly 0 because of the way floating numbers work. Anyway, but integers are exact. So that's why you can say integers are exactly equal to whatever. Okay, and then we're going to set the Shotgun Combat Reload we're going to match this model here. So we're going to transition. We're going to transition for a quarter of a second whenever reload complete is called. So I'm going to just make transition to locomotion assault because my shotgun is going to give. I want it to use my assault animations, and I'm going to come up here and don't think it has exit time. No. Don't have exit time, don't have fixed duration. Set this to, we can leave 0.25, it's fine. And we're going to set this to reload complete. And then the assault combat reload, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to have it go to our locomotion assault. We're going to have it not have any of this stuff. We're going to add only one condition, and that's when the trigger reload complete is fired. And the final thing is we need to actually change the animations, because right now it's still showing the handgun in both of these places. So for the assault combat reload, I'm going to come down to tune armies, tune soldiers armies, and I'm going to grab infantry, and there's a infantry combat reload. I'm going to drop that down, and that will go into the assault combat reload. I'm going to drag the animation straight into my motion field, And you'll see here that there's an infantry combat reload shotgun because he recognizes the shotgun. The original animator recognizes the shotgun is going to reload differently than an assault rifle. So we're going to go and drag that into here. Okay. So now I can preview this animation if I want to by dragging some stuff around here. If I get there we go. If I press play, you'll see it's going to load some shells in and then cock the shotgun. And if I load the assault rifle, he's starting from the pistol grip just by default, but it won't in our game. He's going to reload and chamber around into the assault rifle. He's going to reload the actual clip, not trying to stick it into the handle the way he does with the pistol and the submachine gun. And you can see that I moved my stuff around so that it's a little bit clearer where things are going and where they're coming from and to. And you're not obligated at all to do this. You can have it set like this. The game will be just fine. You won't know what's going on when you come back to it. So it's a good idea to have things spread out so that you will be able to understand what's going where. This is a visual thing for you. The computer does not care where any of this stuff is, and your project doesn't care either. If you're working on a project with a group of teammates, they're very much going to care because they'll complain that it's hard to read. So always make it as easy for yourself to read as possible. And going forward, you may want to introduce another animation type. There's a couple of more that are in here. We've got machine gun and rocket launcher poses too. So the rocket launcher, he's got the weapon up on his shoulder, and for the machine gun, he's got the weapon slung down like a minigun, like from Predator. So, anyway, so if you want to add those in, then you would just create new locomotion animations to match those animations that you have, and you can create new reloads because they've got reload animations for all of those things. So if we look at machine gun combat reload and press play, he does a whole thing there for that. And for the rocket launcher, combat reload. Wait a minute. Yeah, so he's gonna reload a thing into a side loading rocket launcher. Is what it looks like. Anyway, and they're all kind of the same, but they're a little bit different. So take advantage of it if you would like. And the weapons for those are in our weapons folder. We've got heavy machine gun somewhere. I thought, yeah, there was a machine gun. There's a light machine gun. If you wanted to use a machine gun, you've got that. And then I guess I did include a rocket launcher, and you'll see that that's a rocket launcher. Anyway, you can add those in if you would like to later on your own project. So now we need to have our weapon handler tell the animator controller what our reload type is. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did for the weapon grip type. And I'm just going to come into the animator handler, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it, and say reload type. And I'm just checking to make sure that my capitalization is correct. And I'm going to change this to say set reload type. And it's going to be my reload type. And that should be all set there. So I'm going to save that. And then when we reload in our weapon handler, if I remember correctly. Yep, our reload coroutine runs. And we actually tell it how long to wait. And the wait time is defined by my current weapon definition.myReload delay. So we can make the reload time for the assault rifle take a really long time compared to the reload time for the pistol, which we could make really fast. And then when it gets to the end of the reload coroutine, it calls this function in the animator handler called end reload. We can go back and check to see what that does, but you can see that it just sets the trigger to reload complete. So what's cool about this is we can make the animation for the reloading of the pistol super fast, and the submachine gun take a little bit longer, and the shotgun take a lot longer, and the assault rifle take the longest of all. Or you can make them all the same, whatever you want to do. We want to just copy that exact line, because we also want to tell the animator handler to set our reload type. But we want to set the reload type before we click end reload, because the trigger will already be fired, and it will use whatever value it had before, and we want it to change the value and then fire the trigger. So let's change this to set reload type my current weapon definition dot my reload type. Perfect. And I think that's the only thing we need to change, because yes, that's the only thing we need to change. So I'm going to click save there and go to Unity and go back to the scene. And after it is loaded, actually I'm going to look at the animator because I want to make sure that the animator is doing the right thing. So I'm going to press play. And again, I'm not maximizing on play here. You'll see that my locomotion pistol is being activated. I'm going to press E to switch to my shotgun. And you'll see it switches to locomotion assault, which is correct. And now my guy looks like he's here holding the shotgun correctly. And I'm going to press R to reload. And he'll play... I'll do it one more time. Okay, R to reload. Something is going wrong because it's jumping down to the handgun combat reload. Oh, did I set these correctly? No, equals 1, equals 2. I'm missing something. If I go to reload... Do we have them set in our weapons? I thought we did this. Reload type is 0, reload type is 2, reload type is 0, and reload type is 1. So those are all set correctly. What's happening, let me just explain what's happening, is that it's getting, in the middle of the shotgun reload, it's switching back over to the handgun combat reload. Let me try that again. So I'm going to change my weapon definition here. And my reload type is still set to 1 for my shotgun, which is incorrect. I put this in the wrong place, is the problem. Grab this whole line and take it out of the reload coroutine. Just hit Control X. And let's put it down here when we change weapons. Let's change our value. There. Now it will change the value when you change your weapon, and it should have the right value when it gets to the animation. That makes more sense. And that's the right place to put it too. We should change the reload type even if you're not currently reloading. So, press shoot here and press E. I switch to locomotion assault because I'm holding my shotgun. I press reload and it runs my shotgun and then doesn't switch because
it worked for me. I went to the scene view and I looked at it up close and it was working for me.
Okay, so I did something wrong here though, because end reload is not being called. Oh, so if you go into the shotgun, you'll see that my reload delay is set to 0, which means it's instantly finished. My pistol is set to 2. Let's set the shotgun to 3 seconds, set the submachine gun to 2.5 seconds, and set the assault rifle to 4 seconds. There, that should fix all of our problems, because what was happening is instantly being done because the delay for shotgun is very short. Hit fire, hit reload, and I can't move yet. There, now I can go, and I've got my animation correctly. Oh, delightful. So, yeah, so that looks pretty good. So let me go back to the scene, and let's look at what the animations look like up close. So I'll press reload for the pistol. I'll switch to my shotgun, and I'll press reload for the shotgun. He's going to rack the chamber. That's nice. And then I'll press to my submachine gun, and it will run this, and it will do a thing. And then I will change to my assault rifle, and press reload, and he will actually handle the clip. What some games do is they will actually make the clip a removable bit. For this weapon, I don't believe it is. Assault rifle. No, it's just one piece. One of the things you can do is you can go to Blender and rip this piece out and make it separated, and then you can actually spawn the clip in his hand after making the old one disappear, and it would look like he's plugging the clip in. But for a top-down shooter, no one's going to see that detail really. You could do it, but it would be a detail that most people wouldn't even notice. Anyway, so let's maximize on play and take a look at what our game looks like here. Okay, so if I shoot with my pistol, it's doing that. And if I switch to my shotgun, nothing at all is happening, so I'll reload. And I still have nothing because what's happening is I'm actually reloading, but I don't actually have any shotgun bullets to reload. So let's change that. Let's go to my swiftable objects. And remember that these are persistent. So right now, this will get reset every time we play the game. We want to put in our game controller to initialize, our game manager, a thing to initialize all the weapons to set them wherever they should be at the beginning of the game. Right now, if you look at the game manager script, the only thing it does is set the weapon handler for the pistol. Yeah, for my weapon list 0, which is the pistol, equal to the maximum number of bullets per magazine, but it doesn't do anything with any of the other weapons. So we're going to want to change that so that it gives us a stock amount of each of our starting weapons. Or you can make the weapons pickups and it would update it then. But right, for now, let's just manually change the scriptable objects so we can see our shooting effects. We haven't implemented all of this stuff. So, okay, so remember the weapon definition has things like is automatic or is blast or my blast count, how many angles, and all this stuff. You can use those as inputs that you will feed in to give you the shotgun that has a distribution of a certain number of blasts. You can use it to make a submachine gun that fires automatically. Let's walk through the is automatic, and so that way we can see an example of it. And then changing it to as a blast weapon or as a burst weapon is just implementing the same thing, but changing what happens if that flag is set. So let's implement is automatic, and that'll probably be the last thing we'll do tonight. First of all, let's go to our shotgun and do my bullet max total to 20, and my current loaded bullets to my bullets per magazine is 2, and current loaded bullets is 2, and current bullet total is 20. For the submachine gun, we're going to do 50 is the max. Current loaded is 15. Actually, let's make it 60. That way it works out to even numbers. Bullets per magazine is 15, and the current bullet total is 60. And the assault rifle will set to the max total is going to be 100. The current loaded bullets is going to be 30. Bullets per magazine is 30, and current bullet total is actually make it 120. Again, just so the weapons, so the values work out evenly. What we can do is we can have it. We want the game manager to set these at the beginning of the game to these values. So the pistol will be loaded up to 15. Press play. Make sure I had it set to 3 just so it would. It was set to 3 because I fired some bullets last time. But see, it sets it up to 15 every time I start the game. We also want it to set the values for a shotgun, submachine gun, and assault rifle. And I want it to set them every time to these values every time the game starts. So come back in here. This is in the game manager. And we're not going to change the my bullets per magazine for each weapon in between games. But what we are going to do is we're going to change the current number of bullets that a player has for a given weapon, and we're going to change the number of bullets that are currently loaded for a weapon. So instead of just explicitly setting just the current loaded bullets for the pistol, let's instead go to where we're... let's loop through all of our weapon list for my weapon list, and let's loop through all of them and set all of these values. So I'm going to comment out this line. It's going to be handy to copy and paste in just a second, but I'm going to say for integer. I'm going to create a for loop here. For integer I is equal to 0. This is our normal for loop. I is strictly less than my player get component weapon handler dot my weapon list. Oop. Sorry, in two parentheses here. Dot my weapon list. My weapon list. Weapon list. Goodness gracious. Dot count. And then I++. So start with the integer 0, and then go up until you reach the total number of weapons in my list. And for each one of those, we want to copy this line. What we really should do is get the weapon handler and make it a variable and assign the weapon handler, and then just call my weapon list whatever each time. But we're only going to do this once. It's only going to happen in the very first frame, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to say get weapon handler my weapon list. Instead of 0, I'm going to say my weapon list I. In other words, set the current loaded bullets for all of my weapons to whatever my bullets per magazine is for all of them. And my bullets per magazine won't change over the course of the game. And then we also want to just copy and paste that line. Control C and Control V. And do my current bullet total is going to be set to my bullet max total. My current loaded bullets for every weapon will be set to however many there are in one magazine, and the current bullet total that I have total will be set to however many bullets I have max. I'm very happy with that. Press save, come back to Unity, press play. And I can fire my pistol, I can switch to my shotgun, I can fire my shotgun. It only fires 2 rounds though, because I only have 2 bullets loaded in my shotgun. Press reload, and it will load 2 more bullets into my shotgun. And if I switch to my submachine gun, I can fire 15 bullets. So, and if I stop it, you can see my submachine gun, my total number of current loaded bullets is 0. But if I don't click maximize play and press play, you'll see that it's set to 15 in the first frame. So now my guns are all fully loaded again. Again, over the course of the game, you might want to make the guns a pickup. In fact, that's probably what you would want to do. But for testing right now, I want to make them set to whatever, so that they're full each time, basically for each weapon, so we can test stuff. And then also we want to say that my minimum shot interval right now for my pistol is set to 0. Let's set it to 1. For the shotgun, let's set it to 1.5. For the submachine gun, let's set it to 0.5. And for the assault rifle, let's set it to 0.7. The reason I'm setting those now is because I want the guns to feel like they... Right now, the pistol goes off every time you pull the trigger. But because we had it set to 0. but I want it to have a little bit more of a lag than that. So now when I press play and I have my pistol out, I can shoot, but I only actually fire a shot every second. Because the pistol is our fallback weapon and because it's fairly weak, I'm actually going to switch this back to 0. If I wanted a slow-moving pistol that did a lot more damage or something, I could make that heavier. But for the shotgun, I definitely want the player to have to wait in between shots. And for the submachine gun and the assault rifle, they're going to be automatic weapons, and I want the delay between bullets to be noticeable. We're going to play with these values once we implement is automatic, which we're going to do right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and set our submachine gun to automatic and set our assault rifle to automatic. And again, I'm just going to walk you through how to set things to be automatic, and you can work out the logic for setting the other weapon types. You may have to do some researching to figure out how to set the angle or change the blast count or burst count or whatever it is. But the concept is going to be exactly the same as we're doing for is automatic. So let's go back to our simple player and go back to our weapon handler. Or is it a shot handler? The shot handler. Yeah, okay. The shot handler, actually. So, right now, we check a couple of things. We check to see, did you press the fire button? Is the time that you shot greater than your shot interval? And is your current loaded bullets not greater than 0? In other words, if you have more than no bullets, you can fire a bullet. We're going to have one more check to this that says, and my weapon handler dot my current weapon definition dot is automatic is false, and the way we say check to see if it's false is say the opposite of it. So we put an exclamation point at the beginning. So this is a Boolean value. It's either true or false. What we're saying is if is automatic is true, this little exclamation point will make it false. If it's false, remember that all 4 of these have to be true in order for this if to be satisfied. So if all 4 of these are true, then if even one of these is not true, then it won't fire the weapon. So what we're saying is only check for input.getButtonDown fire 1 if the weapon is not automatic. But we want to let's actually grab this line, Control X, and put it under fire 1. So we're going to make an OR clause here. So we're going to check one of 2 conditions. If, I'm going to put parentheses around this so that you can see what we're doing here. Tab. Okay. Okay. So we're saying if this whole clause is true, fire 1 is down. Remember, this gets the frame the user pressed the button down. And my weapon handler current definition is automatic. Then these other things, then go ahead and shoot. But these other things should apply to automatic weapons as well. So I'm going to make another one. I'm just going to copy this, Control C, and I'm going to paste it, Control V. And it's going to complain about the parentheses because we're missing a character, which we'll get to in just a second. Instead of get button down, let's change this from get button down to get button. Get button returns true while you're holding the button down. So if you're holding the get button down and it's an automatic weapon, then we want this to fire. But we only want one of these conditions to be satisfied, and if either one of them is satisfied, we want you to fire a bullet. So I'm putting parentheses on separate lines so that you can sort of see what I'm doing logically. And then in between these 2 things, I'm going to put Shift, and this is the key above your Enter key. Hold down Shift and hit the key above your Enter key, and it's the vertical bar. This 2 vertical bars is the logical opposite. It's not quite the right word. It's a logical OR, unlike which is separate and distinct from a logical AND, which is double ampersand is a logical AND. So what this says is if both of these are true, or both of these are true, and both of these are true, then shoot a bullet. So what this says is, if the weapon is not automatic and I've pressed the fire button, then fire exactly one bullet. If the weapon is automatic and I'm holding the fire button down and my shot interval has passed, fire another bullet. So you can basically just tell what you're telling the script is keep shooting bullets as long as the player is holding the button down and they still have bullets loaded. So you want to do that for each kind of different kind of shot you want to implement. You want to check to see if it's automatic, if it's a burst weapon or different things. You want to see you change what input you're looking for and what conditions you want to have. But this will work for implementing automatic weapons, I think. Let's go give it a shot. So I'm going to come back over here. And remember that our automatic weapons are our submachine gun and our assault rifle. So I'm going to click play, and I'm maximizing it here. So if I press my pistol, it goes off every time I press the trigger button. If I switch to my shotgun, it has a long delay between when I can shoot a shotgun again because it's going to be a burst weapon. It's going to take longer, and I'm actually out of bullets now, so I'm going to reload. If you want to be nice to your players, you can give them a 6-shot shotgun. If I switch to my submachine gun, I'm going to press my trigger once, and it shoots once. If I hold it down, it shoots once every half a second. And if I switch to my assault rifle, it's going to shoot once every 7/10 of a second until it runs out of bullets. But that means my submachine gun and assault rifle are way too slow. The whole point of them is that they're faster than the other weapons. So let's grab our weapon definition in my weapons, go to the submachine gun, and let's set the shot interval here to 0.02 for this submachine gun and 0.05 for the assault rifle. I want the assault rifle to be a little bit slower than the submachine gun because I want it to feel like it's heavier, and you'll see what that looks like here. So let's press play. And if I switch, and I can fire as fast as I can by pressing my button, I can fire very slowly because I have a shotgun. And now my submachine gun fires like a submachine gun, but it runs out of bullets really fast because we only gave it 15 bullets. I'm going to press reload, and it will run out of bullets pretty quickly. So we actually need to take that into account. Let's go to the submachine gun and replace the bullets per magazine, and let's up it to 30, let's say, and the bullet max total. Remember, it doesn't matter what the other things are set to because it will be set by the game manager when it initializes the game. Let's set the bullet max total to 120, and then the assault rifle is already set to those. So if I press play again and switch over to my submachine gun, you see I've got 30 bullets loaded, and it takes me a little bit longer to get through 30 bullets. Not a lot longer. So there's a couple of things that you might want to experiment with going forward. You might want to make it so the player can't shoot while it's reloading. You might want to make sure that the reload animation plays the way you want it to by shortening the time transition in the animator. You may notice that his hand is going back down to his hip for most of the animations. It's because this transition is a little bit too long. But you can change that going forward. What else? That's kind of what I had on deck for tonight. I guess we can do... Let me do one more thing, which is when the player dies, we want it to start this level over again and set everything back to square one. So the way we do that is we're going to add a death function to our player. Now, our simple player has gotten to be not so simple over the course of this adventure, but we have a health script here. And we have a thing that says, an indicator that says, is he dead? So if the player is dead, then we want the game manager to reload the current scene. And remember that scenes are levels in Unity. So let's go to the game manager, and we'll do... We'll just do it during update. Void update. if my player dot my dot the health. Oh no, it's get component. Yeah, sorry. Get component health dot is dead. In other words, if this Boolean value is true, and it can only be true or false, and we set it to false to begin with, then scene dot load. I've looked up the syntax for loading a scene. I had it written down before, but now I don't have it. Unity load current scene. Okay. Okay, so we have to add, we've got scene management in here. So let's do scene manager. Oh wow, okay. We don't get rain at all in the summer, so.
Oh, that.
But you are in Baltimore, right?
Yeah. I don't know which route. Oh, there's a lot of things. I think
the clouds. We've got
I don't
clouds
know
here.
if the road is or not. The thunder going down.
Wow. Okay, well, go build an arc or something. No, I mean, safety first. Okay, so what this says is if the player is dead, and I'm going to actually set a little delay here, just because I'm paranoid. Public float my dead check delay is equal to 2.0 f. And time is greater than my dead check delay. Okay, yeah. What I'm doing there is I'm just having it say, don't check this for the first couple of seconds because I'm not sure that the player setting the value to false will happen in time. So I'm just hedging my bets a little bit here. Anyway, so there's a couple things to look at here. The scene manager is a special Unity component that Unity Engine a library that we're using that is going to allow us to do certain things. And one of the things it allows us to do is load a scene. Which scene is it going to load? It's going to say, go to the scene manager, get the scene I'm currently in, and get that scene's build index. So what we're really passing here is a number. And in our case, it's just going to be 0. So I'm going to press save here. And that will take care of, if the player dies, reload this scene. Come back to Unity. And you can add in delays there to say, if you want to display a message to say, you died, you can pop that up in the UI, freeze all the action, and then tell it to, after 2 seconds or 5 seconds, reload this scene, which is what I did in the demo game way back in the Dark Ages when I started this. So let's turn on some of my zombies so I can get killed. Let's turn on this zombie by turning her on here. If I go click on her, yep, and then I'm gonna change my hierarchy from. Oh wait, what's going on with my? Oh, because this is a new installation of Unity, and I didn't turn something on here. So go to preferences, general, enable alphanumeric sorting. That function was not, that flag wasn't set before, so now I can change this to alphabetical sorting. And that way my zombies are together and make more sense to me. So I'm going to change my zombie here, and she currently is doing 20 points of damage every time she hits me. I want her to do, I can either have her do a lot more damage, or I can have my player have a lot more health, a lot less health, because I need to see him die. So I'm going to set his max health to 20, so he will die in one shot. So, press play. See a zombie. Chomp. So she instantly killed me, and then we're back at the beginning. And I want to look at some things to make sure it's being set correctly. And you see how it's instantaneous. You probably want him to play a death animation and do some other stuff. But what we want to do is we want to not maximize on play. Let's click on our player and go to look at our, no, sorry, go to my scriptable objects, my weapons, and I want to make sure that the weapons are being updated correctly. So I'm going to pull out my submachine gun. I'm just going to have it over here in the inspector so I can see it. And then I'm going to switch to it and fire a couple of rounds. And what we want to see is that the current loaded bullets gets reset when the scene gets reset. We'll make sure that that's happening. So I'm going to switch to my submachine gun, and I'm going to fire a bunch of bullets. And I have 2 bullets now. She's going to find me and kill me, and notice that my bullets get reset. So the game manager, when the scene reloads, my game manager right here, does in fact run its start script again. So that's good to know. It's going to reload the entire scene. I don't have to do anything extra, and it will just reload the level exactly as it was when I started up the game originally. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. And again, I thank you guys for tuning in for weeks and weeks and weeks over the course of this summer. Let me stop recording here. But I hope that you all have learned something, and I'll stop recording, and then I'll just chit-chat for a second after I click stop recording.